Alrighty, traders, let's jump into the daily recap of the markets and our trades for today. It is Wednesday, 9/13/2023. Let's dive into it. So in the markets today, SPY was up just a fraction, 0.12%, after CPI numbers this morning came out a little bit toasty. Market initially sold off in the first few minutes, then just had a fairly bland, slow move up day. There were some ups and downs, but overall, really nothing happened in the market. No big reaction to the CPI numbers. I didn't expect anything to happen. I didn't expect anything different than what did come out. And it really doesn't affect our trading a whole lot, so I'm not sure why people were really fretting about it. I think, it's maybe one of the worst CPI readings we've seen, which means we could be at potentially a worst part of inflation, and maybe we start to get some improvement. I don't know that the Fed does anything here, but there's still always a chance that they may raise, but I think they're just going to keep the lid on things right now. Anyway, so you look at SPY today, really nothingness day today, up fractionally, still staying inside on the daily channel, on the daily over here. Still staying inside this symmetrical triangle that we have, still holding above the 21 EMA, which is above the 50 EMA. So they're all stacked nicely. It's right in the middle of the Bollinger Bands. And then over here on the weekly, it's had a nice little pullback, and now it's moving up in that triangle. Stacked MAs. Well, I don't know what else you're really looking for here. There's no major directional move yet up or down. So we'll just keep watching. My two favorite indicators are MACD and RSI, and talked a little bit about those in a video I put out today on how I sell credit spreads. So if you want, you can check that video out in the channel here. But they're my two favorite because they give me a sense of what's the momentum, what's happening in the market, and is there something a direction I want to pick? Well, there's not really any direction here. MACD is slightly negative, RSI slightly positive on the weekly, and then if we look at the daily, MACD has been heading slowly down, but it's almost flatlined and dead, and RSI is almost flatlined. So you're really in no man's land in the market. We just keep moving sideways, which has been fantastic for our portfolio because we're premium sellers and theta traders. And when you're trading theta and selling theta, man, you just want the stuff to burn, and you don't want any major moves up or down. One thing we are looking at here on SPY is that the Bollinger Bands on the bottom are definitely tightening up quite a bit, and the top are really not opening up significantly. So we are getting tighter and a little bit tighter. Let's take a look at the Qs. Now the Qs were up just a fraction higher, about 0.4%. You can say pretty much the same thing. You're really in, this down, the symmetrical triangle that you have running here. I don't know that there's anything going on that changes my mind. I mean, we are in an uptrend overall weekly. Nothing has happened to change the uptrend that we're in, except the fact that MACD is slightly dropping and the RSI is slightly gaining. So it's pretty much a neutral move here. I don't think I'd be doing anything on the Qs. I'm really not betting much long, and I'm not betting much short. I just like this sideways move, but something's got to give. If we look at the daily here in this triangle, it's getting pretty doggone tight, and there's going to be a move one way or the other. MACD is seeming to tail off a bit. RSI is pretty flat, but a little positive. So we just continue to move sideways, and theta's burning. So we'll keep an eye out. IWM's been a little bit more interesting than those, but if we look at the weekly, MACD continues to drop, RSI continues to drop, so the weekly does not look positive on IWM. And if we look at the daily here, it is a little more head and shoulders-y. I don't know if that's a word, but that's something we're looking at here. The left shoulder, the head, and now the right shoulder is a lot more formed than SPY and the Qs. So this is looking a lot more like a head and shoulders pattern. You are trading below the 21, which is now below the 50, and you just hit the 200 EMA. You broke it and finished right at it, but MACD and RSI are falling. There is nothing good on RSI. The benefit for us is we are in a strangle, and we are dead in the middle of that strangle, right in the middle of the Bollinger Band. So nothing here is a major issue for us. Our strangle is up 39% now in 16 days. 50% is our profit target. So we'll see what happens. But as long as we don't just absolutely tank here, I think we'll be all right. All right, and then let's take a quick look at the VIX. Another just down bad day for the VIX, closing at 13.5. It's just dead. There's just no volatility in the market. If we look at the dollar, it didn't really do much. It had a small fractional up day, but really not much happened in the dollar. And when we look at the weekly chart, you still got RSI moving up, even though it's down this week. RSI and MACD moving up, so that's bullish. And the PSAR is also bullish. Then we look at the daily, and you got MACD rolling weaker and RSI coming off of overbought levels. So you have a mixed signal here on the dollar, but we'll keep an eye on things. Overall, weekly, still positive, and daily, just getting into this little sideways, maybe a flag pattern, who knows? We'll keep an eye on it, but I like the fact that we're rolling over a tad, but not major, but we need to see something more happening here on the dollar. But sideways is fine as long as it doesn't rock and roll up. And then if we look at TLT here, slight up day today. MACD has been reversing, moving higher, but RSI is not, heading lower into oversold levels on the weekly. So we're getting back to oversold, back down to this support level. And then on the daily, it's just sideways, doing nothing. MACD is starting to rise, RSI is starting to rise, so we might get a little bit more of a bounce here, but we'll see. Overall, it is looking decent for a longer entry here, and time is definitely helping this. So the longer this thing moves sideways here, the better off you're going to be if you want to get long. So I think it's just basing out here, getting maybe ready for potentially that move higher. We'll keep an eye on TLT. All right, jumping into quickly the futures. Here, if we take a look at the Aussie dollar, pretty much flat on the session today, which is great. So good day overall on the Aussie dollar. For the week, it is up on the week. And, we're just sitting there with our trades on the Aussie dollar. We do have a 112 trade and a strangle trade on. 112's up 5%, the strangle's down 9%. So just kind of mixed on Aussie dollar. We look at the British pound here, RSI and MACD dropping on the weekly, so not a good sign there. But on the daily, you've got MACD reversing and starting to try to move higher, waiting for RSI to start a significant uptrend here. But I think it's starting to shape up like something you may want to jump into for potentially a strangle or a 112 trade, or just get bullish on it with a credit spread. It does not meet my credit spread criteria yet, but we'll keep an eye on it. Canadian dollar dropping MACD, but maybe curling this week. Not enough time in this trade on the weekly MACD to show us a significant move higher. We got to give it at least another week before we can do anything. But the daily's been solid. MACD rising, RSI has been rising a bit, and now it's bumping up into the 21 EMA and seems to be stalling a tad there. But if we can get above that and start to head up to the 50 EMA, then we'll be in good shape. And then the euro, which is the one we continue to watch because we have a bunch of euro trades on. I do have a strangle, which is down 28%, and I have another strangle, which is up 4%. So two different strangles, pretty much in good shape. I'd like to see this thing get a little bit of a run higher in the short term and trigger some some profit target hits on strangles. All right, so where do we look at when we look at the weekly? MACD dropping, RSI has been dropping, so that is bearish, and you get a bearish PSAR. And then when we look at the daily, MACD is trying to move higher, not strongly, but it is trying to move higher, while RSI is just meandering down at a low level. So it doesn't have enough juice to get going yet, but we'll see. We need the dollar to take a step back for a couple more days, and we need to really get to see this thing start to base out a bit here, maybe get a bump off of support. All right, and then oil has continued to have a good week. Overall, was up again today. So oil's been strong, not putting pressure on our strangles at this point. In fact, we closed an oil strangle at 50% winner today, which is fantastic. We've got other strangles on, so we put a new oil strangle on today. We've got another one working. We've got some 112 trades working. Those are both up great. One's 85%. One's 28% in 3 days already. So we love the way oil looks in here. It's moving higher. It could use a little bit of a break. The weekly is very strong, but getting overdone. And the daily, MACD's trying to tip over a bit, but not strongly, but RSI is overbought. So I would expect up here around this 3 ATR for oil to maybe tip over and take a break, although I've been saying that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, now heading into the 8th day of oil sitting at the 3 ATR and not really pulling back much at all. In fact, going higher. I think it's overdone, but it could stay there for a while. We've been in this overbought territory on RSI since way back here on 9/1. So we're 13 days into overbought without really much of a pullback. So we'll keep on watching that. But for right now, it's fine for the trades we have, and we're still closing. Winners. And then if we take a look at gold here today, MACD dropping, RSI dropping on the weekly. So that's a bearish sign. And we're getting close to this bullish PSAR signal. If we drop down, tag that, we'll trigger a bearish reversal here on the weekly. And then on the daily, we did, MACD is still dropping, RSI is still dropping. So gold remains in a bearish mode, but we actually had a bunch of strangles come off today. So that's good. And we're sitting on currently 2 strangles remaining in gold. One's up 10%, one's up 27%. The one that's up 10%, it's only been on for 2 days, and we're up 10% in 2 days. Fantastic. So we're doing really, really well with gold. And then on our lean hog position, we continue to let our strangle work here. Lean hogs, when we look at the weekly chart here, MACD is rising and RSI rising, so it's strong weekly, and you get the bullish PSAR. Okay, and then when we look at the daily, we've been in this sideways action for quite some time, dating all the way back to May for the most part. Really, we're at the same price that we were at the beginning of May right now. It really hasn't gotten much higher, but MACD's been up and down a bit, with RSI moving up, but flipping over a tad. We put a strangle on here. We are up 14% in 5 days on lean hog. So like what it's doing in here. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, let's take a look at some of the sectors. XLY was up 0.8% today. So a decent gainer on tech stocks. So tech moving higher. Weekly, weak, but maybe reversing. It's just kind of flat, with RSI kicking back higher again. So neutral to bullish weekly. And if we look at the daily, pretty bullish looking on tech stocks. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then if we look at the, I'm sorry, that was XLY. I meant to say. So that was XLY. XLK tech stocks more in general, your Apple and your Microsofts. MACD on the weekly falling with RSI. So this is much more bearish looking, whereas XLY, a little more sideways-ish, looking to slightly bullish. But that's what we see. But on the techs, on the daily week, MACD has been rolling over, RSI is heading lower. So, and we're breaking this triangle. We broke the downtrend already. You can probably just pull that off of there. We'll be looking for some sort of support levels in here, and I really don't see any. Maybe you could go back and put some support way back here, but we didn't really use it more recently. So maybe there's some support in here, but tech does not have a lot of support here. Looking kind of bearish. If we look at energy, solid weekly, everything's been moving up, but getting a little overbought here. And if we look at the daily, overbought and starting to turn over. A little early to say anything specific yet, but energy had a great run. I just think it just needs a little bit of a pullback, and then it can move higher. And we look at XLF financials. I've been talking about these for a couple days. And weekly, MACD has been dropping, but RSI is kind of sideways to improving, and it's breaking out of this symmetrical triangle here right now. So daily, MACD rising, RSI rising, and good strong PSAR moving above the Bollinger Band, but then failed at it today. XLF is keeping things moving in a good direction here. All right, so that's pretty much where things are right now on the sectors. Taking a look at some stocks here. Amazon had a great day today, having a great week this week. Strong on the weekly, strong on the daily, moving higher. And then Apple, absolutely the opposite. Weak on the weekly and weak on the daily. So two stocks going in two different directions right now. And then we'll take a quick look at Tesla here. Tesla pretty much semi-bullish on the weekly. And then if we look at the daily, semi-bullish in here. So we'll keep an eye on it. So let's take a quick look now at our portfolio, and then we'll wrap up for the session. All right, so on the day, we finished with our delta at 301, which is 0.1%. So we're very delta neutral, loving that. Our theta increased to 952, 0.31, loving where we are on theta. Net lick jumped again today to 305. Which is fantastic. So it's a new all-time high in the portfolio. BP is at 181, which is 59%. Again, remember, 10% of that BP is in BIL, the Treasury 1 to 3 month. So we're okay. We're technically then sitting right at 50%, which is right where we want to be. And we had a great day today, closing out 2,100 in realized gains. Let's take a look at what those were. We are up 2,800 bucks for the month already, with some big closes coming down the road as we have a couple 112s getting close to coming off. Let's take a look at the gainers for today. So technically there's 4 gainers on the day. We got an oil strangle. So this oil strangle here closed today 50% winner. We put it on August 10th, took it off today. When it hit 50%, 1,140 bucks to the good on future strangles. And then the other 3 trades were 0 DTE. I'm going to do a little video on this maybe tomorrow or Friday on how I'm trading 0 DTE right now. But I did trade a intraday. So we started off with a put fly. And this is a directional fly. I was expecting the markets to move down based upon a lot of the same MACD and RSI, just using the 15 and 3-minute charts. So we put a put butterfly on. We took it down from we paid $1. We sold it at $1.65. Made 65% on that, 195 bucks. Didn't do a huge volume, and we probably could have stayed in it longer, but we had a few things to get done today. I did put another put butterfly on. This was a wide butterfly that I put on pretty much right at the money at the time. I paid 10 bucks for it. I took it off at 16 bucks for a 64% winner there, 650 bucks winner on that one. And then SPX, I did one more put spread when it started moving higher on the day. We sold a 0 DTE, 44, 45, 44, 25. So we did a 20 wide, which is our typical. We took in 55 cents on that. We sold it for 30, pulled in $1.25 on that one in about a half an hour. So overall, great day, $2,110 winner. And we're doing fantastic in the portfolio. So we also had a nice couple trades close in the IRA today as well. So up 28.51 for the month. We're up 1% with a couple big trades coming. Had a great day. You guys take care. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Take care, everybody.